Holly thinks she can manipulate everybody.
She even said, I think he's the kind of person that's gonna try to kill me. And he did. And he did. Oh my God. No, he did this. He's an evil person. He cannot get away with this. He cannot get away with this.
This is Teresa Collard. Her 24-year-old daughter, Alyssa Burkett, was just shot in the face while sitting in her parked car. The shooting
What the okay
was overheard by one of Alyssa's co-workers who was slackishly playing Minesweeper at their desk. Startled by the gunfire, they immediately dialed 911.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Someone came up and just shot my assistant manager.
Where is the shooter?
I don't have enough information. He's gone. He left in his car. He literally left a second ago.
Officers from the Carrollton, Texas Police Department were dispatched to an apartment leasing office at 1120 MacArthur Drive. As they walked toward the building, they passed a gray Toyota Corolla with a single bullet hole in the driver's side window. They also noticed a knife sheath on the sidewalk. Lying right outside the front entrance was Alyssa, who appeared to be unresponsive. In addition to the gunshot wound to her face, she was also covered from head to toe in deep lacerations. By this point, medics had arrived at the scene, so officers finished securing the perimeter while Alyssa received medical attention. But unfortunately,
this started at like 100. We just entered the video at 100. My God.
The medics were too late. At 9:12 a.m., Alyssa Burkett was pronounced dead. The forensic unit proceeded to set up a tent in order to thoroughly examine Alyssa's body. Meanwhile, the officers finished securing the area and began interviewing several witnesses who all said that Alyssa was ambushed.
We're just getting our day started.
Okay. Were you here when everything happened?
Yes, I was sitting at my desk.
Apparently, Alyssa pulled her vehicle into her parking spot at around 9 a.m., just in time for work. Little did she know, her killer was just a few spots over, sitting in a black Ford SUV. He exited his vehicle, ran up to Alyssa, and fired his shotgun into her driver's side.
Shotgun? Dear Lord, man.
No.
I heard that pop. I turned around. I knew it was a gunshot.
Alyssa's co-workers panicked and stayed inside the building to protect themselves from the active shooter. The suspect jumped back into his vehicle and began to flee the scene, until Alyssa, covered in blood, exited her car and stumbled over to a window near the front
Jesus
entrance.
Christ.
As she banged on the window, begging for help, the attacker then ran up to her again
Oh
and
my.
stabbed her several
Oh
times.
my God.
The attacker then jumped into his vehicle again and fled the scene for good.
Did you see
The fact that she was still alive after a shotgun shot to the face. Dear Lord.
him holding the knife?
Yeah, in the hand.
Don't touch anything, okay?
The investigators gathered around to inspect Alyssa's vehicle.
That's
She got shot in
insane.
the car.
Okay.
You can see her handprints.
During this inspection, they discovered a tracking device hidden in one of the wheel wells. The device is collected for evidence.
It's got to be like an ex-boyfriend or some shit, right?
While investigators took photos of the
It says Holly, so I don't know.
vehicle, the lead detective contacted Alyssa's family to inform them of the tragic news.
We're going to start having family members show up here.
Not long after, Alyssa's mother, Teresa, showed up at the crime scene completely devastated, bringing us right back to the moment at the beginning of this video.
She even said, I think he's the kind of person that's gonna try to kill me. And he did. And he did. Oh my God.
The person Teresa is referring to is 33-year-old Andrew Beard, the father of Alyssa's daughter. Andrew has a successful career at Hilti Tool Services. He goes on frequent vacations, lives in a big house, and has his own airplane. After going on a few Tinder dates with Andrew, the relationship
So he's a
went
rich
stale,
boy.
But soon after, Alyssa found out she was pregnant. Once their daughter was born, a tumultuous custody battle ensued.
Dude, I swear, this always how this fucking happens, man. This is always how it happens.
Hi everyone, my name's Alyssa. This past year I have been going through a custody
Always like divorce, breakup, custody battle, dead. Someone dies.
battle, a very ugly one. I have a 1-year-old child. It's taken a toll on my mental and physical health. With that being said, I've become a lot stronger in the process. And I guess just my message is, no matter what you're going through, Stick it out, you can do it, and stay strong.
Oh,
Despite her
my
positive
God.
outlook, Alyssa's finances were crumbling behind the scenes.
Ugh.
However, in March of 2020, things seemed to take a turn for the better. The two reached an agreement regarding the custody of their daughter Willow and child support. By April, they were finally able to move on with their lives. Alyssa started dating a man named Ben, and Andrew started dating a woman named Holly, who he
Oh
proposed.
no. I was so close to saying I bet Holly is going to be the girl that he started dating or married, and then she got jealous, and yeah, okay. Yeah, I see where this is going.
to after just 1 month together. In the first conversation between Alyssa and Holly, things looked promising. Holly texted Alyssa, "Look forward to having a super healthy relationship with you and Ben." Alyssa responded, saying, "I hope your influence helps, because I'd love nothing more than for all of us to have a healthy relationship." However, it turned out that this healthy relationship was nothing but a pipe dream. In September, just a month before Alyssa was murdered, a man named Frank called 911 to report that Alyssa was selling drugs out of the back of her car while at work.
I saw what I thought looked like someone just selling some drugs out of their trunk. And I could
What?
smell it and I could see it. And
Okay, what kind of vehicle
I'm
is
sorry,
it?
you could smell it? What? I mean, I guess weed, but like when I think of someone selling drugs out of their trunk, I'm like, dude, even if it was weed, what do you, like, did you walk up directly to the trunk and smell it?
it's a little Toyota Corolla. I have a license plate if that helps.
I've seen so many videos of the ex-GF kill a child over being jealous. Oh yeah, it's way too common.
Okay, great. What was your last name?
Morrow.
Officers went to Alyssa's workplace to investigate these claims. Inside her trunk, they found cash, drugs, and a pistol. However, it was determined that Alyssa had no real connection to these items. Somebody had planted them.
What the fuck? Okay, who's this Frank guy?
Although the police believed that Andrew was responsible for this, there was ultimately not enough evidence to place any charges.
I knew that it was him when the drugs didn't work in the car for him to get the baby.
Alyssa also expressed to her friends that Andrew always seemed to know where she was and that she would frequently run into him on her nights out. Because of this, she became fearful for her life and began sending paranoid texts to her friends. "Come over while I walk inside. Do you see anyone around you? Lock the door behind you.
Oh,
He is going to try to get someone to kill me next." Just a month before the attack, Alyssa started a GoFundMe to help with the legal fees of the custody battle, where she wrote, "At this point, I am scared for my life and my daughter's life."
I know he did this. He's an evil person. He cannot get away with this.
What scared Teresa even more was that on the day of the murder, Andrew had custody of Willow.
oh
I want my
no.
baby away from him. Oh my God.
But wait, how could Andrew be the killer if the witnesses said they saw a black male? Even if this was true, it's still possible that Andrew was
Who's Frank? What about Frank?
involved in the planning of this attack.
She apparently has had a history with baby daddy.
Andrew Beard is the suspect?
Yes.
The police sent units to Andrew's home and put out a bolo for his white F-150.
Of course he has a fucking lifted
Bolo for
F-150.
his white F-150.
What a fucking loser. What a loser.
As well as the killer's black Ford SUV. Within hours, Andrew's truck was spotted, and he was pulled over for a traffic violation. After following an order to exit his vehicle, he was immediately handcuffed.
My part was to just find me. That's all they asked me to do.
Sitting in the passenger seat was Andrew's new fiancée, Holly Elkins. She was removed from the vehicle and handcuffed.
Yeah, that's
as
true. Chad, if you think someone is following you like that, take your vehicle to a quick lube and ask them to take a look for anything sus. Yeah, very true. Very true.
as well. But Holly wasn't the only passenger. Willow was also in the truck, safe and sound.
The daughter's in a car seat in the back seat.
I feel like a big giveaway is whenever you tell him that she died and how she died, and then how he reacts. And if he reacts, just goes, "Oh, no," you know, like if he reacts like that, then you know. I feel like it's pretty easy.
Cooperative.
There wasn't enough evidence linking Andrew to Alyssa's death, so he and Holly were free to go. Due to the custody agreement, they were allowed to take Willow with them. But instead of going home, they were taken to a nearby Airbnb to stay at for the time being. Andrew's F-150 was seized, and a search warrant for the couple's home was executed later that night.
Carrollton Police Department search warrant. If you're in there, come out your hand up.
During the search, police found an envelope covered in writing with details of Alyssa's workplace and a description of her vehicle. They also found the name Frank Morrow, the person who called 911 to report Alyssa for dealing drugs. Police also discovered a charger and batteries for the tracking device that was found on Alyssa's vehicle.
So we found this GPS tracker box.
Back at the station, Andrew's truck was being searched as well. They found a backpack in the back seat, and inside the bag there was a pair of men's hiking boots that were soaked in bleach and had been cut into pieces, as well as 2 bottles of dark brown makeup. Detectives now believed that Andrew used this makeup to—
Dude, did he try to fucking blackface? Are you serious?
disguise himself during the attack. Investigators also discovered that Andrew had recently bought a black Ford Expedition just days before Alyssa's murder. They were able to locate it on a random suburban street less than a mile away.
Dude, thank God this guy is a fucking idiot. Oh my God.
From his house. Using the SUV.
I don't get it. Why did they go so far? I don't know. Like, I don't understand what he gains. You know, like sometimes if like someone murders someone, like, oh, they want to get their life insurance or some shit. But like, what? You have a new girlfriend. The girlfriend likes you. You have partial custody of your daughter. Like, what? Full custody? Why? Why does it matter that much?
GPS location data. They determined that he abandoned it there at about 9:30 a.m., a half hour after Alyssa's attack. They believed that this person, caught on a nearby home security camera, was Andrew, running through the neighborhood after abandoning the vehicle. While searching the vehicle, investigators found multiple bloodstains that were confirmed through DNA testing to be from Alyssa. They also found Andrew's beard, fake.
He went blackface and had a fake beard.
Facial hair you might see someone wear on Halloween. With the discovery of all of this evidence, Andrew was contacted and told that he would be arrested if he didn't turn himself in. The next day, he came down to the station to do just that. Andrew was booked into the Dallas County Jail, and his bail amount made it unlikely that he would get out anytime soon.
Good.
Beard's bond is set at $1 million. He is currently in the Dallas County Jail charged with murder, and police say it's very clear this killing was not random, it was planned, and it was personal.
A few days later, his fiancée Holly volunteered to speak with the police. She vouched for her husband-to-be and claimed that the idea of him doing something like this was complete.
Chat, ad break is in 1 minute. If you guys want to avoid the ads, make sure to subscribe.
Nonsense.
I can't believe that my fiance would do something like that to a woman or to anybody, but a woman.
What is that? What does being a woman have to do with anything? He fucking brutally murdered her. I don't think gender is even a factor in the horrible things he did. What are you talking about? Are you saying that if he murdered a man, it wouldn't be that big of a deal? Like,
So I just told all my friends and family that I'm engaged to the most wonderful man on the planet. Yeah. And now people want me to believe that he's not that.
And there are so many emotional roadblocks for you to try to believe that. I get that. I'm telling you,
no,
there's
she
a side
knows
of him that you do not know.
The detective spent over an hour trying to convince Holly that Andrew was a killer, hoping they would come out of the interview with a key witness to testify against him in court. But Holly refuted any suggestion that Andrew was responsible, claiming that he was actually home with her at the time of the murder.
There are a few hours that you know he was not in that house.
You cannot tell me that I feel that way, sir.
I can tell you that because I know that for a fact that he was out of the house, Holly.
I don't know that for a fact. That's what my problem is. I am a total stage 5 clinger girlfriend. I'm always up his ass. I find it hard to believe. I want to help. I really do. But I don't have any answers. I'm trying to help and no one's helping me. I just feel bad to not help something that I think is very sad that happened.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, dude. Even without the title, you can tell that she obviously knows what's going on.
I've literally cried myself to nauseam every single night over this.
Oh, yeah, I could totally tell. I could totally tell by your, like, I've cried myself to nauseas, all right? Every night. And then goes back to talking normally. Yeah, I'm sure, buddy. I'm sure.
Was adamant that Andrew had nothing to do with Alyssa's death. But the detectives weren't buying it. They suspected that Holly was covering up for Andrew. Holly realized this and told them that she would get a lawyer if she had to.
I don't want or need a lawyer because I don't have anything to hide. Yeah. Well, I feel like the dumbest, most manipulated woman on the entire planet if this is true. Yes.
It seemed that both sides of the table had their minds made up, so the interview was concluded and Holly went back to her Airbnb. The GoFundMe set up for Alyssa's custody battle was repurposed to help with her funeral costs and any future legal fees. With the help of the community, it raised over $6,000. On October 8th, 2020, 6 days after Alyssa was killed, the funeral took place at Rest Haven Memorial Park. Her obituary read, "Alyssa was strong-willed, ambitious, fiercely determined, and driven. She had many friends, and she was a natural leader among them. Her presence will be deeply missed by everyone who knew and loved her." Also, Alyssa's family and friends posted online about the positive effect she had in their lives. For example, one of Alyssa's loved ones posted, "Alyssa represented a strong, kind, and determined leader. She left an impression on me that will last my entire life." Unexpectedly, 2 weeks after turning himself in, on October 21st, Andrew's bail of $1 million was paid and he was released.
A Rowlett man accused of shooting, then stabbing to death the mother of his child is free on bond this afternoon. And the victim's family believes he is a threat to public safety.
He was taken to the Dallas County Courthouse, fitted with an electronic GPS ankle monitor, and released for home confinement, placed on bail after a $1 million bond was paid on his behalf.
With news of Alyssa's killer being released, her family was terrified of him coming after them as well.
Yeah, I would
Another
too.
serious concern was that he could flee from the authorities and Alyssa wouldn't get the justice she deserved. Alyssa's grandfather pointed out that Andrew was a pilot, making him a literal flight risk.
The family of Alyssa Burkett wants to know why someone paid for that release. They believe he should still be behind bars.
He is a flight risk himself. He has a pilot's license and he has an airplane that the police have not been able to locate yet.
The Carrollton Police Department decided to get the FBI involved, and just 8 days after being released, Andrew was once again taken into custody.
A Rowlett man accused of murdering the mother of his child has been arrested on a new charge.
Andrew Beard now faces a federal firearms charge. He recently bonded out of jail after being arrested for the murder of Alyssa Burkett.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, many people could not believe that Andrew Beard was out of jail after posting a $1 million bond. Now the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas has found a way to charge him federally, and he is right back behind bars. Now, Beard is back in jail on a federal charge of possessing an unlicensed firearm silencer.
It turns out that during the search of his home, an unregistered silencer was found, which warranted an arrest under federal law.
Good.
They did see that it was a homemade silencer. It did not have any serial numbers or manufacturing markings.
The ATF says it has no records of Beard legally owning a silencer and that the silencer has no manufacturer markings or a serial number.
Get fucked, loser!
Andrew's charges were eventually changed to stalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. He sat behind bars for the next year and a half. During this time, Teresa was given full custody of Willow. They consistently visited Alyssa's grave and held a memorial event in her honor.
What is that? Balloon.
As for Holly, she left Texas and went back to her home state of Michigan, cutting off all communication with Andrew. She got a new condo, a new fancy car, and a new boyfriend.
Wow, what a surprise.
Then, on July 15th, 2022, Andrew suddenly requested to speak with the prosecutors. He wanted to make a plea deal. They were able to quickly come to an agreement. As part of this plea deal, he sat down with the detectives and shared his side of the story. He claimed that Holly was the mastermind behind everything. She desperately wanted the perfect family with Andrew and Willow, and would stop at nothing to make this dream come true. He started by citing an incident that happened 2 months before Alyssa's death. On August 6th, 2020, Holly called 911 saying that she had been assaulted by Alyssa's mother, Teresa. 2 officers were sent to Holly's house to investigate these claims.
The grandmother.
Apparently, while grabbing Willow out of Holly's lap, Teresa attacked.
She literally attacked me from behind, or from behind side. I was
Oh,
facing,
totally.
The officers took
I totally
pictures of
believe
Holly's
that.
injuries,
I have a.
No. Oh, you have some on your stomach?
and it was immediately obvious that the red marks on her chest and stomach were not inflicted by another person. Holly's plan failed miserably, so she
Oh my God.
decided to step it up a notch. She came up with another plan to frame Alyssa for drug trafficking.
If you were to ask me whose idea was what, drugs and the planning of drugs was Elkin's.
But as we already know, this plan failed as well. At this point, Holly's patience was wearing
God,
thin,
she looks
so
fucking
she
terrifying,
told Andrew
bro.
that it was time to get serious.
It was made very clear to me that your previous methods aren't working. This is what you're going to do now in order to prove that that you're worthy.
Holly became increasingly manipulative towards Andrew.
Chat, you know, want to know something crazy? A very, very similar situation like this happened in my hometown where this dude, because my sister was friends with this dude's brother, but this dude was dating this girl, and this girl, I think like his parents didn't like her and didn't want him to date her. And so she manipulated him into believing the only way that you're going to be able to be with me is if you get rid of your parents. And so in the middle of the night, he took a bat and beat his parents to death so he could be with that girl. That actually happened. And I knew the brother. Yeah, it is fucking crazy. It's crazy.
Constantly calling his masculinity into question by texting him things like,
did he get life? I'm assuming. I don't really know. But it just made me think of this because this is a very similar situation where she probably gave him an ultimatum. Like, you're not going to, we're never going to be together if you don't get rid of her kind of thing.
I don't want anyone who is a to some lowlife or a pushover.
Oh my God.
I want a man who protects his woman and child before anyone and doesn't give two fucks otherwise.
Oh my God.
Emotionally
Ew.
drained. And at that point, I just basically said, okay, and became submissive to whatever she wanted me to do. That's the task I did.
Holly also told Andrew that they needed to get rid of Alyssa once and for all.
It was, you're going to dress up as a different person. Essentially, you're going to wear this dark makeup. That was her plan. That was how it's going to be done. It does look planned out because it was. The process was planned out.
A week and a half before the murder, she went
Wow.
on vacation to Mexico, but continued to pressure Andrew while she was away. She texted him,
Wow.
"I'm not coming home to bullshit. I hope you handle it." Andrew responded, saying, "That's my goal." Then Holly said,
Ugh.
"Well, it will be a whole different conversation if I feel like you are a ride or die. If
Ugh.
not, then IDK." By the time Andrew carried out the murder, Holly was back from her vacation and stayed home with Willow while the attack.
And the fact that she literally dipped on him whenever he got arrested. It's like she just manipulated him to kill his ex-wife just for him to get arrested. And then she just dips and dates some other dude.
Occurred. The detectives asked Andrew why he went back to finish the job after Alyssa got out of her vehicle to seek help. He said he believed the gunshot wound was fatal and that he wanted to put her out of her misery. But according to the forensic pathologist, Alyssa was stabbed a total of 44 times.
Dear
To the
Lord!
detectives, this seemed a bit overkill. For
Yeah, I'd say so.
so-called mercy killing. They found it extremely unlikely that Andrew was a mere victim of Holly's
No, like, okay, no. He's not, no, he's not a victim of her manipulation. He probably just is also a psycho, and she is also a psycho, and there's just a bad combination.
And believed that Andrew was downplaying his own desires to kill Alyssa. Following this interview, Andrew was sent back to the detention center to await his sentencing hearing. In a press release,
He probably wanted to kill her, and like she was like the thing that pushed him over to actually do it.
Andrew's plea deal. The U.S. Attorney, Chad Meacham, released a statement saying, "This was a brutal, bloody crime. Miss Burkett's daughter is now suffering twin tragedies. Her mother is deceased, and her father is a confessed killer. We pray for strength for this child and for the rest of her family in the days, weeks, and years to come." For the next 10 months, the detectives focused on building their case against Holly. Then, in May of 2023, Andrew's sentencing took place. He received 43 years in federal prison.
That's
2
it?
months later, in July, Holly...
Why is that not I guess plea deal. What am I talking about? I mean, 43 years is basically life. He's already looks like he's in his 40s, so
Holly was returning to the U.S.
It's 43 years because it's a plea deal. It's just how plea deals are.
After another vacation, this time in
Of course she's just taking vacations.
Dominican Republic. As she exited the plane at the Miami airport, she was arrested.
Fiance of a Rowlett man is now charged with helping to carry out the murder of his ex-girlfriend. Federal prosecutors arrested Holly Ann Elkins in Miami. Now, you might remember this story. Andrew Beard pleaded guilty to shooting and stabbing 24-year-old Alyssa Burkett in 2020 as she arrived to work at a Carrollton apartment complex. They share a child. He's currently serving a 43-year sentence. This new indictment alleges Elkins helped plot the killing by stalking Burkett and brandishing a firearm.
Holly's arrest came as a shock to Alyssa's family, who up until this point had put all of the blame on Andrew.
It's bittersweet. You know, it brings up all the hurt of the loss, but we're glad that she's being held accountable for it. It's a challenge, and this arrest is, it came as a surprise. But the more details I find out about it, the more I realize that she played a really big part in this, and she's gone 2.5 years without any accountability.
Yeah, just going on vacation after vacation, too.
So I'm glad that she is being held accountable at this point.
She was charged with conspiracy to stalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death, and brandishing a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Her trial began on April 10th, 2024. And in their opening statement, the prosecution said, Andrew Beard is a monster, but he was Holly Elkins' monster. They outlined Holly's secret hatred for Alyssa, highlighting all of the special names she had for her in her phone records. They also outlined Holly and Andrew's toxic relationship turned deadly from beginning to end. Only 2 months into their relationship, Holly was already berating Andrew about Alyssa, texting things like, "Your BM owns you. You continue to put BM first. You choose to be, IDK, for lack of a better term, submissive to her. I don't have want or need any bullshit from anyone." Around this time, she was also doing a ton of research into many different tracking devices. As you already know, Holly proceeded to harass Alyssa for the next several months leading up to her death. But the prosecution highlighted even more incidents that were discovered during the investigation into Holly. For example, Holly once placed a call to 911 under the fake name Amber, falsely claiming that Alyssa's car was driving erratically on the interstate. She also paid a private investigator to dig up dirt on Alyssa. This private investigator testified at the trial, saying that they found nothing incriminating. Once the timeline reached September, the jury began to see a murder plan unfolding. On September 13th, 2020, Holly and Andrew purchased the black Ford SUV. The next day, on September 14th, 2020, Holly purchased the dark brown makeup from a drugstore. 5 days later, on September 19th, 2020, using her location history, investigators determined that she had accompanied Andrew to a supercenter. There, they purchased the same ammunition from the crime scene and a Camillus knife, which matched the sheath Then, on October 2nd, 2020,
Wow.
Andrew, dressed in a black rain suit and disguised with makeup and a fake beard, shot Alyssa in the head with the shotgun. And after she stumbled out of her car to seek help, Andrew stabbed her 44 times. Her co-workers testified at trial that they found Alyssa covered in blood and gasping for air near the front door of the building. Prosecutors also presented a series of Google searches that Holly made right after her interview with police. They read, "Can I not be brought to court if I have a psychiatrist note? Vulnerable patients going to court? Contact psychiatrist in Dallas. Can I not be subpoenaed to jail if I have a mental issue?" In closing arguments, prosecutors said that all of this stemmed from Holly's obsession with getting custody of Willow. According to those inside the courtroom, Holly had
Why
zero
does she want custody of her? What?
emotion throughout the entire trial. After 7 days and just 90 minutes of deliberation, the jury had reached their verdict. Holly Elkins was found guilty on all counts. Family and friends rejoiced outside of the courtroom, thankful that justice was finally being served.
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed with emotions right now, really.
Yeah, it's got to be a big mix.
But happy, overwhelming emotions because finally, this has been a long time coming.
What would Alyssa think about this?
I mean, she would be thrilled. I mean, I've been going to that gravesite since day one, telling her justice is going to be served.
A few months later, on August 15th, 2024,
So sad.
Holly Elkins received 2 life sentences.
Ew! Yo! 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 What the fuck? Yo! Yo, Sid looking ass! Look at you! Fucking Sid looking ass! Oh my god! Damn! Damn! Ew! Oh shit!
Consecutively. She currently resides at FMC Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas, while Andrew Beard resides at USP
Get fucked,
Tucson in
loser!
Arizona. As for Willow, Teresa is currently in the process of adopting her. They talk about Alyssa on a regular basis and routinely visit her grave,
Happy Mother's Day.
hoping to keep Alyssa
God, that's so sad,
Alyssa's
dude.
memory alive for her daughter.
Oh, that's
Her
so
baby
sad.
gets up in the morning and goes right to a picture of her mother and picks it up and kisses it every day.
Oh my
On
god!
Mother's
Oh,
Day, she
dude, that's
asked if
so.
she could
Oh my
take it.
god! Come on, man. You can't say that, bro. That's so fucking sad. Oh my
Gift
god.
to heaven and give it to her mother. So she's aware of it. She left such a big hole in our family, and of course her beautiful daughter is with our family, and she's just like her in many ways. And so it's a constant reminder of that one of our tribe is missing. When someone says, "I'm glad you got closure," sometimes I have to say, it's not like that. Alyssa was, the victim of an unprovoked attack. We can learn from it and we can integrate it into our lives, but I don't think you ever close the book totally on something like this, which is the way I feel about Alyssa. The book is still open with her.
Man. Holy fuck. That's sad. That's so sad.